Okay. Now, where do you come in on this? I know that you're doing it. Let's forget about PMC Sierra. Let's pretend I have a company trying to develop a new blood pressure medicine. Okay? That should qualify, right? Okay, or it
The
might
clinical
qualify.
trials
The clinical
and the
trials
tests
so
to develop the drug will qualify for SR+ED, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's not worry about what part of it is and so on. But I've got a branch. I set this up, and I say, well, let's just make records over here. Doesn't work very well because the scientist should be recording somehow or other what they're doing, or is that something that you do?
I guide the scientist as to what kind of notes to keep in order to provide CRA's reviewer with adequate evidence that the activities were truly performed. This need not be onerous. I have templates that I show the scientists.
Well, that's what I understand.
Templates for them to present the material in an organized fashion.
Now, is the template a computer template that they got to put in a PDA, or is it written out in a 3-ring loose-leaf binder so that they record it and anybody can understand it?
It's an Excel spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet?
The instructions I give could be written on paper, but I much prefer it in machine-readable form because I'm going to take those notes and I'm going to extract what's relevant, and I'm going to present it to CRA's reviewers in a way that helps them understand what they need to understand.
Now, Brian, you're over there. I want you to pay attention to this next contact. And Dan isn't here yet, is he? No, okay. Because I've introduced you to Brian from Dan Walco's place, Seabank Capital. And this has only come to I'm only thinking about this now. But Dan Walco, who you haven't met yet, and will be here in a few minutes, and Brian has just joined him, so he hasn't been there, but Dan is developing software and systems to deal with cross-border investing of money in things that nobody else is doing. And he's done experiments with this and experiments with that and tried this and it didn't work. And it sounds to me like our next guest has a SR+ED claim someplace too.
Maybe. And the reason I say maybe is that in all likelihood there is some software that's involved that can be written by software developers who, with some oversight, explaining what needs to be done. If the software tools exist to make that product that Dan and Brian want to produce, then it's not going to qualify for SR+ED unless some nuance or problems arise. So simply taking a third-party software and applying it for the purposes of its marketing does not qualify.
No, they're doing new stuff.
But, well, no, if you took Microsoft.NET and applied it in this circumstance, it may well do pretty much everything that they need to, they want. So it's not about writing yet another software application, David. It's about whether there is a problem that they encounter en route to producing the result. So we need technical problems. And if Dan and Brian their technicians are encountering technical difficulties, then yes, of course their work will qualify for SR+ED.
Let's see. All right, I think I'm going to call this quits. And
well, I think there are some other things that you haven't asked
well,
me
then
about.
you better bring them up, sir.
Well, I think the thing that your viewers really need to understand is that SR+ED has two aspects. One, we've talked only about technical issues so far. The critical factor is getting the numbers right. It determines the amount of the check.
But that's what you do with your spreadsheets? And
no, it is not what I do with my spreadsheets.
Okay.
Those spreadsheets are to guide the technical people as to what to record, or how to record to log their activities. The numbers that I'm referring to are the numbers that go into the T2 accounting software that all accountants use, tax prep,
Yep.
profile, and Cantax, Canada. All three of those programs are deficient in one way or another. And as a consequence, CRA's computer algorithms kick those claims out for human attention. We don't want human attention. We want a check.
Yeah.
So I show accountants how to remedy the deficiencies within tax prep, profile, and Cantax.
Put new codes in.
Not new codes. It's just that numbers are within the software, but they're not in the right boxes. And when they're not in the right boxes, CRA's computer algorithms will call attention to them.
Yeah, you have to put the new, don't you have to put a new, like 3428 or 3430 or something is a number to use for the SR+ED claims? Or
no, I'm talking about the arithmetic of how it computes the amount of your check. I told you it's 68.5%.
Sure.
Well, it's a complicated calculation, and the numbers get transferred from Form T661 to Schedule 31, to Schedule 5, and into Schedule 1. And those numbers need to match with the GIFI. And if you have the GIFI account 9282 that matches the line 116 on Schedule 1, well, the computer algorithms will be happy. If it's not done just the right way, then humans will come in and pay attention to it and start looking and seeing, oh, well, what about this or what about that? It's reasonable to expect a telephone call from CRA, especially first-time claimants. CRA's internal policy is to have every startup reviewed on its first SR+ED claim, and then at least once every 3 years from there on. That rarely happens in my situation because I know how to present the information properly to my former colleagues. I make sure that the numbers are done right so that vast majority of my time, my clients just get a check in the mail.
The computers say, right, this is okay. No
Exactly.
way it goes. Okay. What do you cost?
I charge a portion of the amount that my clients recover in cash, and I get paid when my clients get money. If I don't get money from my clients, they don't pay me.
So you're a contingency person.
I'm a contingency. That's the only way I will work.
Okay. So I can't pay you $400 an hour to come in for 5 hours and show me how to do it.
No, I won't.
You will do it on the contingency basis, and you show the scientists how to record everything. You show everybody what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and then you do it.
And I take over from the accountant. I don't let my clients' accountants touch the SR+ED claims. They finalize the financial statements without SR+ED, and they send me their tax prep profile and Cantax file. I enter the SR+ED data correctly, send it back to the accountants for the courtesy of a review before the clients sign it, and then wait. We wait 3 to 4 months in most situations for the check to arrive, although it may arrive, and quite increasingly it arrives, in only 30 days. So, under optimal planning, what you'll do is at the end of your fiscal year, you will gather up all your receipts and bank statements and give them to your bookkeeper within the first month. In the second month, your accountant finalizes your financial statements for you. I get involved in the second month as well, and we finish everything, file your T2 corporate income tax with the SR+ED data entered into it, and then the clock starts ticking, either 1 month, possibly 3 to 4, usually 3 to 4, and that's when your check will arrive. And I've done this over 275 times, and every one of them has been successful. So I know how to do this, and I can help anyone who thinks they might be eligible for SR+ED.
But the important part is to document what the scientists did,
and
what the research was,
and get the numbers right in the T2 corporate income tax return so that you don't get audited.
Now, how do I get in touch with you?
You go on my website, www.techincentives.ca, where I've got instructions for those of you who think you might want to use SR+ED and still puzzled. And if you've got any questions, you give me a call at 604-331-4688. I handle calls frequently from people, and my role, I take it on as a personal mission to help anybody who calls me. So in a matter of 15 or 20 months, we'll be able to target the amount of money that you're going to recover through SR+ED and put together a plan and a schedule so that we go out and get that money for you.
Did you have fun doing this?
This is great. Let's do it again.
Okay. We went 56 minutes, just for the record.
I hope you've learned something out there. And use this money. You're a taxpayer. You're entitled to it. You spend money on technically risky things, you're entitled to get some of your the taxes you've paid back.
Richard, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank Richard for bringing you in, because I've learned a lot. And I really want to thank you for helping out Hancock Wildlife, because David's one of just my dearest friends ever.